Bienvenue sur Cardio-online en direct des JSFC. Je suis Victor Aboyans, cardiologue au CHU de Limoges et j'ai l'immense plaisir d'avoir un échange aujourd'hui avec le professeur Alexander Parkhomenko qui est le vice-président de la Société Ukrainienne de Cardiologie. Alexander, thank you very much for being here in this Congress. You had a great conference this morning and the people were very interested by your testimony about your activities of cardiologists during war. So just to put the setting, set the stage, how many cardiologists are working in Ukraine and for how many people, the population?
First of all, I would like to express my appreciation for the invitation to be here. In general, before the war, we have more than 5,000 cardiologists, but the war has corrected this maybe number according to whole population. Before war, 42 millions, and now we have some people moved from Ukraine. In general, it's maybe 6 or 8 millions of refugees. That is why it should be corrected.
Tell me a bit about where do you work and what is the size of your center?
I'm working at the National Scientific Center, Institute of Cardiology. It's the biggest center for cardiology. We have 350 beds. It's my department is ICCUs, is about 20 beds for emergencies and critical patients.
So you're the responsible of the emergency cardiology.
Yes.
Okay. So you receive all these acute cardiovascular patients. What has changed since last February?
Since the beginning of war, we have dramatically reduced number of emergencies patients, and that is connected with some changes of population in Kiev. In Kiev, the number of citizens reduced in the first 6 months about half. That is why we have really half the population. It was checked last year, the same period of time or before. But people are more severe injured. It is important due to real situation during the war.
So when you say they had a more severe situation, can you give us an example about maybe patients with MI or heart failure? Do they arrive later? What happens?
Both. For MI patients, it's late admittance, and for patients with heart failure, it's a lack of resources for treatment and some logistics problem with medications.
I understand. So let me tell us about your team working in your center. How do you deal with all these aspects around the war? How your work has changed daily in your practice?
It's very similar like it was before, but more hard work with the severe injured patients and the lack of satisfaction sometimes due to absence of long-term results after treatment. Before the war, before the pandemic, we showed the patients more about 5 years and have the very good long-term results. Now I am predicted the worsening the prognosis in our patients after the discharge. This is the main reason.
So during the presentation, for example, of MI, is there something different than what you have observed before?
Yeah, absolutely. Even in patients who are admitted in time, we have more disorders of microcirculation. No reflow phenomenon increased dramatically about 3 times, 4 times. It is connected not with the concomitant diseases, it's connected with the stressful situation and activation of inflammatory process in other background for microcirculation disorders.
And clinically, do they have any different blood pressure or heart rate or whatever?
Absolutely the same. It's clinically, it's only these symptoms of stress like heart rate at the same dose of beta blockers, the same medication.
They have higher heart rate?
Yeah, it's definitely significantly higher, more. It's about 20%, and that is transforming into the risk and real possibility to have ventricular fibrillation in these patients.
So you're the chief of CCU in your department in Kiev, but what about the chronic patients? When the patients are discharged, any issue specifically then?
The main problem for today in Ukraine that we have no real insurance, full insurance, and the patients should to continue on medications. It is the main problem for chronic patients too.
Alexander, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.